So we are going to look at the three ways of creating JavaScript functions. This is David. If you are new to this channel, consider subscribing so that you can help me reach my first 1K subscribers. We shall look at the function declaration, the function expression, the arrow syntax, parameters and arguments. The first thing we are going to look at is function declarations. Just write the keyword function. You follow it with the function name. For example, you can say greeting. Then you put a pair of parentheses. After that, you put a pair of curly brackets. Then, in between the curly brackets, you put the function body or the code. So, for example, we may want this function to output a statement that says, "Hello, David." And this is called a function declaration. But then you need to go to the next step, which is step 2, use the function. And step 1 is to declare the function and define it. So how do we use it? We just write the function name and put the pair of parentheses. Now we are going to use node to preview the function we've created by writing node in the terminal and the file name. The file name, like you see here, is functions. So you can see it as output "Hello David." So the other syntax is function expression. To create a function, you create a variable and we assign it the keyword function. And we put parentheses here. For this one, we are going to say "Hola David." And you can see that for it, JavaScript has added this semicolon. Because this is a function expression, it's like you are assigning a value to a variable. To use this function, go ahead and invoke it by writing the function name followed by the pair of parentheses or circle brackets. If I go to the console, I would write node function, and you can see, let's go to the third option, which is the arrow function. It was brought in ES6. This is the one I prefer. You create a variable, and this time we are going to call this variable greeting3. We shall assign to it a pair of circle brackets and then put an arrow here, which you get by writing an equal sign and then a greater than symbol, and you put the pair of curly brackets and then you put the function body here. I'll write it in my language, Oliotia David, and then I'll use the function greeting3. You can see that using the function is quite similar. You can see that all of our functions have output something. What next is to look at parameters versus arguments. I'm going to go ahead and comment out all of this code. Now, parameters are used to define the variables that will pass values to the function. Let's take a look. So if I go with the function declaration, I can say greeting. Inside here, I can write name. Now, this name that we put in between the circle brackets is known as a parameter. We can put backticks here and write the word hello, then name. So expect that we are supposed to supply a value here so that it can be output here. Let's check by not supplying a value first, and we see what happens. Again, you can see it says hello undefined, because when you create variables in JavaScript and you don't give them values, the JavaScript engine assigns to them undefined. So how can we pass a value to the name? All we can do is pass a string like David, and if I run now, it will show me David. Let's check another example, and this time we are going to use the arrow function. So we shall write greeting to message, comma, name. Open our brackets. Functions accept more than one parameters. Like you can see, we've started with message, then put a comma, name. So to separate the parameters, you have to separate each one of them using a comma. Now I'll put message and name. I think I need to remove this and this. Now I can go ahead and pass the message and I can pass the name. So I can say hola. Then after that, I put a comma and put the name. So let's see how it's going to appear. Clear the console and then node functions. You can see the first one says hello David, because that's what we put there. And then the last one says hola Wampamba. So this is how you can use parameters and arguments. Now, arguments are the values we pass to the function that defines parameters. So I'll put it here, that now I think I'll put it here, that arguments are passed to the function and they depend on the definition of the function. So if you've created a function where you've not defined the parameter, don't expect the parameters to work. For example, we can do it over here. I'll just comment out to this and comment out to this. Then I will, by the way, you find this code on my GitHub. I'll share the link in the description of this video. And if you are finding value in my coding tutorials, please consider to subscribe and support me to reach 1K subscribers before the end of June. Thank you very much. We shall go ahead and create another function. So I'll use the const keyword. You can use let, you can use var, whatever you want. And I'll call this one greeting3. And I'll go ahead and say console log, are you there? Something like that. And I won't put anything here, so I've not defined a parameter. If I don't define the parameter and I come here and specify it, let me say I put the name David. Let's see what would happen. You see it has output, are you there? It has neglected this because we did not define it. But if we define it here and we say name, and then we come over here and are you there, David? So that means I have to put here a string with a question mark. You can do this and see. Do you see that? So now it has used it because we've specified it here. Thank you very much. See you in the next.